that you took?
Yes.
Okay. It wasn't, I mean, the
No,
city.
I took them off with my phone as I walked, and it was walking my neighborhood where I, really discovered how this problem was.
Well, I got out and drove Sunday after I looked at the patch, and I was like, wow.
Thank you, Ms. Lowe.
Thank you.
All right, the board will recognize Donald Reed. Did I say that right, Donald?
Yes, sir.
Donald Reed. Sorry, I was corrected. It's Donnie.
That's no big. I'm gonna make this a short video. I'm Donnie Reed. I'm the founder of the Washington Community Development Center over here on Marietta. Used to be in Washington, Washington High School. I'm also the CEO of Total Medical Supply, and I'm here asking you guys to, if you'll rename the rec center, the Texarkana Rec Center, after Terry Rogers. I don't know if you're all aware who Terry is, but he worked for the Boys and Girls Club for 35 years. I was on the board of directors for the Boys and Girls Club for about 8. I got an opportunity to see how Terry interacted with the children, how he really helped develop young men and women and to turn them into better versions of themselves. I also know what Terry made because I had the opportunity to look through the financials, so it sure was more of a passion than it was for some of the financial gain. Before I got the Washington Community Development Center, I donated $120,000 to the Texarkana Rec Center because I wanted the rec center to be able to have the funds and the stuff to make a difference in kids' lives. And I was told that, I said, hey, I would like for this to be named after Terry Rogers. And, what they posed to me was you can make that mandatory. And I said, that's not me. I just like people to do what's right. So I'm asking you guys to do what's right. This man has had an amazing impact on a bunch, thousands of people here in Texarkana. And I'd like to see his flowers. All right?
Well, I'm a byproduct of Terry Rogers, so I don't know if that's a good thing, but I've known him since I was about 8 years old, and he's one of the finest men I've ever met, even though he whooped me a few times. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
All right, the board recognizes Mondo Baird. Mondo Baird. You can state your address for me.
4414 McGee Drive, Texarkana. Like Donnie just said, I'm here speaking on behalf of Terry Rogers and basically the impact that he had on my life. First of all, I'm the ALE coordinator at Arkansas High School, and I'm the site director at We Are Washington. And the reason I'm the site director at We Are Washington, basically, I'll point right back to Terry Rogers and the impact he had on my life as a youth. I met him when I was around 8 years old, and I'm 54 now, and I actually acknowledge Terry Rogers as being my dad. And Terry Rogers never dated my mom, but I acknowledge him as being my dad. And I want to let you know the impact he had on me, because for someone to call someone their dad and still listen to every word they tell you, even today, I think that means something. Not only did he have that impact on me, a lot of other youth in the area that grew up around the time I did, including my best friend, Rod Smith. We used to argue about who gets to, go with Terry today. And from the time I was 8 years old all the way to now, it hadn't been a person living that had a better or more impact on my life than Terry. And it's all because of the Boys and Girls Club. Growing up back in the day. Growing up the way I didn't have much to do, didn't have a father figure around. And that's my father figure right there. And it still is. And like Glenn said, I just hope that we really consider that'd be a good deed. And to get a man his flowers while he's here, because I have the utmost respect, and a lot of other people have the same respect I do. And I'm speaking on behalf of the whole hood, as they call it. Because, like I said, Terry Rogers, the impact he had on my life, I don't know where I'd be now. And like I said, I go to school in the morning, working with kids, and I spend all evening, including Saturdays, working with kids. And that's because of that man back there. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Board recognizes Billy Lavender.
How do I follow that?
Mr. Lavender, if you would, state your address, please.
Address is 6200 River Birch Way, Texarkana, Arkansas, 71854. I'm here as well as Mondo, and kind of got some of the same sentiments as him. Terry didn't date my mother either, and but I consider him a second father figure to myself as well. And like you stated, from about 8 years on, Terry was a part of my life, and I've been to birthday parties of his. He's been to birthday parties of mine. I can't say a whole lot without crying. I'm kind of an emotional person when it comes to things like this, and it would really, really mean a lot for this to get done. And there's no greater man to be on the side of that building right now than Terry Rogers. So that's all I have to say.
All right, thanks, Mr. Lavender. Board recognizes Helen Cunningham. Ms. Cunningham, can you state your address to the board, please?
My first one, 11 was put on my house, and I would like to know what the outcome. Y'all like to see?
Give it to the city manager, please.
It's not addressed to me that this is a unique situation. It was a buyback, and State Farm has not fixed my house since last year. But the insurance has paid the person. So, I know this is a legal issue, it's not. However, this person, I think it's gonna boil down to credibility.
So, Ms. Cunningham, let me state what you have on the card so it might draw a little bit of light, because I think maybe we need a little more information about what you're talking about, right? So, on Ms. Cunningham's card, it says she needs a decision made with a 30-day notice buyback paid for and have paid real estate taxes through last year. So this is your property, or you're trying to buy it back, or?
Okay, let me go from the beginning.
Okay.
It went into foreclosure.
Okay.
As friends, the Drakes wanted to help me. As so-called friends, I paid them off in 2017. He never deeded it back to me. He never put me on the insurance. All, excuse me, hell broke loose when the house caught on fire last June.
Gotcha.
I've been harassed by a city code guy, all the city officials since he's gone. Plus, State Farm is trying to say I set the house on fire. The fire department said unintentional accidents do happen, right? So unintentional don't mean that I set the house, but by my name not being on the insurance has paid the Drake $6,800. And nothing has been done to the house, so with that letter to them, what, he said he's gonna have it demolished. So, with the board sending him that letter, what decisions have been made on that? That's kind of the question now.
So we have some properties that we're going to review tonight. Tyler, is this property on there?
What's that address?
It's 4713 Glenlee, Texarkana, Arkansas.
We'll get your number from you, and we'll get in contact with you
This
and
is
speak with you.
right around the tracks.
Yes, ma'am. We'll take care of it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Is there anybody else that wants to address the board? Anybody else? All right, that makes us move right into our proclamations. Our first proclamation is declaring May 5th through the 11th, 2024 as Municipal Clerks Appreciation Week. A Texarkana, Arkansas Proclamation, City Clerks Week, May 5th to May 11th, 2024. Whereas the office of the City Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of government, exists throughout the world Whereas the city clerk is the oldest among public servants, whereas the city clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and the agencies of government at other levels. And whereas city clerks are pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, whereas city clerks serve as the information center on functions of local government and community, whereas city clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the city clerk department through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations, where it is the most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of our city clerk and deputy city clerk. Now, therefore, it be resolved that I, Jeff Hart, Assistant Mayor of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, do recognize the week of May 5th through May 11th, 2024, as City Clerks Week in the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, and urge our citizens to join in this appreciation of our City Clerk Department for the Bible services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. And let me tell you what, we could not run this whole show without those ladies. They're excellent at what they do. Another proclamation we have is Drinking Water Week. The Texarkana, Arkansas proclamation, Drinking Water Week, May 5th through the 11th, 2024. Whereas water is our most valuable natural resource, whereas drinking water serves as a vital role in daily life, serving as an essential purpose to help hydration and hygiene needs for the quality of life of our citizens to enjoy. Whereas tap water delivers public health protection, fire protection, support for the economy, and the quality of life we enjoy. Whereas the hard work performed by the entire water sector, designating capital projects, operators ensuring the safety and quality of drinking water, are a member of the pipe crew maintaining the infrastructure communities rely on to transport high-quality drinking water from its source to consumer taps. Whereas we are all stewards of the water infrastructure upon which current and future generations depend, whereas the citizens of our city are called upon to help protect our source waters from pollution, practice water conservation, and get involved with their water by familiarizing themselves with it. Now, therefore, it be resolved that I, Jeff Hart, Assistant Mayor of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, do recognize the week of May 5th through the 11th as Drinking Water Week in the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, and urge our citizens to join in this celebration. We have the awards I need to read out. Well, they're not here. Do I need to read them or recognize them? Can we go ahead and do that now? Yeah, I didn't memorize them. Thank you. See, she keeps us in line. We had a couple of employee awards, and I know that the individuals are not here, but we still want to recognize them. This is a certificate that's awarded to Jeffrey Shaw for 10 years of service with the Texarkana Water Utilities. Let's give Jeffrey a hand. And then we have another certificate awarded for Tanner Friedman for 10 years of service with the Texarkana, Arkansas Police Department. Let's give Tanner a hand. All right, that takes us to our presentation, which I just did. And now that's going to take us directly into our consent agenda. On our consent agenda, we've got 4 items tonight. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of the April 15th, 2024 board meeting. Adopt a resolution authorizing the purchase of an update fire panel for the Bi-State Bowie County Jail located in Bi-State Justice Building by the Bi-State Building Manager Christine Sheffield. Adopt a resolution accepting the 2023 Public Facilities Board annual report by Finance Director Tyronda Henderson. And number 4 here on our consent is adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase an asphalt zipper from Asphalt Zipper by Public Works Director Tyler Richards.
Motion to adopt.
But I would add, okay. Yep.
I like that.
All right, number 7 is taken off by Director Harris.
I make the motion that 4, 5, and 6 be approved.
We have a first and a second to approve items 4, 5, and 6, with 7 being taken off. Is there any other discussion? I would instruct the city attorney to read those through.
We don't read them.
You don't read those through? All right. So what would it be the desire of the board to approve the consent agenda for items 4, 5, and 6?
Yes.
Move for approval.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? It's my second meeting.
You're doing fantastic.
Well, I don't know about it. We're gonna do it right. Yeah. So item 7 has been taken off the consent agenda. Tyler Richards will come and speak to item 7.
My question, I was just trying to ask, what is that? I didn't see a picture. No way, file as to what it, what does that do?
Is it not in your packet?
I didn't see it, so I couldn't.
That's right here.
What did that do?
An asphalt zipper is a miller reclaimer. It enables us to either go in and do an asphalt mill on one of our roads, or it also enables us to pulverize and mix if we have base issues. So this is a key component to addressing our rural road issue. It can certainly be used in our higher density areas as well, but its major use is going to be the rural roads. We can go in, lay cement, mix it with the base, and then go in a gypsum surface. We already have one of these machines right now. It's probably about 15 years old, and we can't get very much done with it. In fact, we demoed this machine the week before last. They came in, had a brand new machine. We ran down Burnell Road, I believe it was. And we did with this machine in 1 hour what it took us 12 hours to do the week before. I bet. So it'll drastically increase the roads that we're able to do in-house.
It's my understanding we've got a creative way of paying for that as well, Tyler.
That'll be paid for through ARPA funds.
Okay, great. Any other questions for Tyler?
Now that's not used for the regular small potholes, right?
It can be, but no,
It won't be, right?
its major use is for
Regular.
is for much larger roads, yeah, widespread work.
Any other questions for Tyler? All right, item 7, I would entertain a motion to
Second.
read the resolution, number 7. We have a resolution adopting, authorizing the city manager to purchase an asphalt zimmer from Asphalt Zipper and Public Works Director. He presented that as Tyler Richards. I would entertain a motion to adopt.
I'll read it first.
Okay, why don't you read it first?
Whereas the Public Works Department is requesting that the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas authorize the city manager to purchase an asphalt zipper from Asphalt Zipper Incorporated in the amount of $331,560. And whereas the asphalt zipper will be acquired through HVAC by a government buy board, therefore bidding is not required. And whereas funding for this purchase was budgeted and is available. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the city manager is authorized to purchase an asphalt zipper from Asphalt Zipper Inc. in the amount and method so indicated. Passed and approved this 6th day of May, 2024.
You have heard the resolution read by the city attorney. Do you have something, Director?
I'd say now move for adoption.
Okay, all right, thank you for being I would entertain a motion to adopt. Motion to adopt. A second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, call the roll, Heather.
Jewel,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Goldish,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart.
Yes. Ooh, that was rough. And the resolution passes. Congratulations, Tyler.
Thank you.
That will take us directly into our regular agenda. Item number 8 is to consider the following action concerning 27 substandard structures. And this is a public hearing regarding the condemnation of substandard structures. And this is to adopt a resolution condemning 27 substandard structures. Tyler Richards.
Good evening, Assistant Mayor and board members. So it's that time of year again, trying to take care of some of these dilapidated structures. We have 27 here for you. We actually need to remove one, which is 2108, 2110 County. That one is actually already being condemned. The reason it got put back on here is because the property owner pulled a permit for it. We entered an agreement with her, and she hadn't got that done yet, but we worked it out with her and her attorney. She's got a licensed contractor on it now, so we're confident that's gonna get taken care of. Okay, so as you know, we rate these A1 through A4, A4 being the worst. All the ones that you see here on the list are gonna be A3 or A4. A4, the worst is it's either burned beyond repair or it's got a collapse or something of that sort. I'm gonna run through these real quick. If you see something that you wanna talk about, just stop me. We got 2003 Pearl, here in Ward 2, 1821, Ward 2, 1524 Hickory, is Ward 3, 1721 Pearl, is Ward 2, 517 Orleans, Ward 2, 801 Cleveland, Ward 2, 701 Prince, Ward 2, 1604 Prospect, Ward 2, 1107 Harner, Ward 2, 1910 Niffen, Ward 2, 1410 Delaware, Ward 2, 723 Belmont, Ward 2, 1802 Walter, Ward 2, 2121 Walter, Ward 2, 1703 Preston, Ward 2, 1000 Hickory, Ward 3, 905 East 9th, Ward 3. Sorry, I was confirming something. 909 East 10th, Ward 3, 1806 Senator, Ward 4, 1602 Grand, Ward 3, 1420 Locust, Ward 3, 806 East 27th, Ward 4, 3101 Linden, Ward 4, 4713 Glenlee, Ward 6, 2123 Pecan, Ward 4, 604 Kirby, Ward 2, and 2108, 2110 County is the one that we removed here. That's all of them. If you have questions for me?
Questions for Tyler? Have any of the owners contacted you to remove anything?
I just spoke with the gentleman here in the audience who's here regarding 1604 Prospect. The lady that came and spoke earlier was here regarding 4713 Lindley, I believe. Roger, have you been contacted by anybody else?
Tyler, just to be clear, after you announce this, how much time do they have to get back?
So, once y'all condemn these structures, we will send the property owners a notice that the property's been condemned, and they have 30 days to remedy that on their own. If not, we'll come in and demolish the structure. At the end of that 30 days, we have to send another 10-day notice, or not necessarily at the end of the 30 days, but 10 days prior to us moving in, we have to send them a 10-day notice that they have 10 days to remove all their personal belongings because we're coming in to demolish that structure. Typically takes longer than that because we have to bid all these out, and that's just a long process. But they'll have at least 40 days at least.
Thanks, Tyler.
Anybody else?
I want to make a statement. Pretty much, I guess they read without making a statement. And the statement I say, condemn house and home ownership. May 1st, 2024, Mr. Robert Thompson, City Manager, and Tyler Richard, Public Works Director, and condemned houses and home ownership program. I was asked about condemned houses in Ward 2. I drove around today and the only house I was announced to submitted as houses that are burnt or falling apart, and it says seal cat, which I attached pictures to this, which I sent this to an email to both of these persons. The approach that the city is now taking with no housing program has devastated the effect in the low income community without some type of rehabilitation program in place. Public Works somewhat see this each summer with all the vacant lot, grass cut requests in Ward 2. Homeowner investment partnership program grant is an area that the city of Texarkana shall be considering. There is also other programs such as Arkansas Development, Finance Authority, Home Banking Program, including down payments and closing cost assistance, and Habitat for Humanity through volunteer labor, building and rehabbing housing for family in need. I would like to receive monthly and quarterly reports stating that the city progress in these areas, and if so, I would be a part of the conversation. Lane Harris, Ward 2, City Director, Ward 2. And what I'm saying, this was email that I sent to, like I said, Robert Charles, City Manager, Howard. And I did get a response from him today, so he won't tell me what the response was, I believe that to him. And then he said he couldn't see the houses, and so I just gave him, sent him also a copy of the address of the pictures, what the address of the picture. Some of them that we did tonight, like 604 Curtis Street, and I don't know if he did 1821, which is the burnt house, so, and I think he did 23 something Pearl Street with the burnt house, so that's basically what I have to say.
Mr. Richards, could you back up to the 1604 Prospect? What kind of shape is that? Is that one of the real bad shape?
I don't have a long memorized, I'm sorry, I'll have to go back to it. Yes, 1604 Prospect.
Just from this picture here, it doesn't, it's not collapsed, it's not burned, it's in an A3 state.
So it is possible to repair it, but there are a lot of problems with
And the owner contact just spoke.
The owner's here.
But they have a time frame to work with the city.
Yes, sir. They've got a time frame.
Any other questions for Todd? All right, I remind the board that this is a resolution. I would instruct the city manager to read. This closes the public hearing. I would instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the Public Works Department has requested an order of condemnation under section 11-87 of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances for the 26 substandard residential structures attached hereto as Exhibit A. And whereas owners of listed properties have been notified that the structures on the properties are in violation of the Arkansas Fire Prevention Code and International Property Maintenance Code, but little or no work has been done on the structures, and the allowed time period has lapsed for the owners to voluntarily bring the structures into code compliance. And whereas such structures have become dilapidated, unsightly, unsafe, unsanitary, obnoxious, or detrimental to the public welfare, and whereas the Public Works Department has attempted to notify by certified mail the last owner of record of each property, informing them that the Board of Directors will consider declaring these structures a nuisance. And whereas notices of the condemnation can be sent to the owners of record, allowing 30 days to obtain a permit for repairs or a permit to demolish the structure after giving property owners at least 10 days in which to remove any personal property. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the properties listed in Exhibit A are found to be and are condemned as public nuisances under the provisions of section 11-87 of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances, that the Public Works Department shall provide the owners of record with notices of the condemnations and allow 30 days for repairs or demolition by such property owners, that the Public Works Department is authorized to demolish any of the listed structures that are not repaired or demolished within 30-day period after giving the owners at least 10 days in which to remove any personal item. Passed and approved the 6th day of May 2024.
So the city attorney has read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
I've got one more question before we do.
Oh, yeah.
Do we need to amend, make a motion to amend removing 2108, 2110, or was that already done by public works?
We'll do it. It's the list of the structures are attached in this exhibit, so we don't have to amend it. It'll just be taken off and slipped in there.
All right. So that being said, I make a motion for adopt the resolution.
We have a motion and a second. Heather, would you call the roll?
Joel?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
We have some people here that want to speak.
No. We closed the public. Oh, we come forward.
Just reopen.
I own the property on 1604 Prospect. It's not in real good shape, but I don't think that it's condemnable.
What is your address, sir?
3803 East Castle Ridge.
It's, which property are you talking about?
The 1604
Okay.
Prospect. I work a lot. I work 12-hour days. And I know that's not an excuse. You gotta have a job. And yeah, I have done work on it in the past, but we're getting scheduled a lot. And it won't be easy, but I can get it up far.
Will you be able to get it up or in the time frame the city is allowing?
30 days?
If we condemn it tonight?
30 days?
Well, ever what the time frame is?
No,
6 months.
6
it's
months.
6 months.
Oh, 6
Can
months?
you do it in 6 months, sir?
You have to pull a permit, the permit's good for 6 months.
Yeah.
I had a guy wiring it. He paid a little up front, and then he come back and asked for more. This was on me, and I learned a lesson. Don't pay him up front.
Right.
He left.
If we condemn it tonight, your 6 months starts when you pull that permit. Right? You're understanding that, right?
You have 30 days to pull that permit, then you're gonna get 6 months to bring that property up to speed.
The way I work on 6 months, it's gonna be tight.
If he pulls a permit, I mean, there's some leeway there to extend that if he's actively working on the property, correct?
Tyler's gonna work with you, sir.
Okay.
As long, I think, as you're making an effort to.
Because I hate to lose the house, in the respect that there's a shortage of housing.
Yes.
And the house is, I mean, it looks bad, I mean, windows are busted out, but that's easy fix. It's just, I think it's pretty sound. Because it has some issues. But I'll have to hire somebody to do part of it, and then I can help them on the day of the month. But I believe it can be brought up, because I'm almost by
Tyler, you
Tyler,
got
you got
that?
Yeah, there's some leeway with the 6 months. We just need to see some substantial improvement in the 6 months. By the time that permit expires, you'll have to renew the permit.
Yeah.
But, we've got to see substantial improvement in that 6 months.
So do we need to do anything different to remove it or from the, or just
No.
take it off?
You got 30, your property will still be on there, it's my understanding. You got 30 days to pull the permit, and you've got 6 months to make improvements, and then Tyler will work with you if you extend the 6 months.
Okay.
But within 30 days, you need to get that permit pulled,
Yes, sir.
because it's still on the resolution tonight.
Okay.
Be condemned.
Thanks, sir.
Is there anybody else want to speak for or against this resolution? Anybody else? All right, we will officially close the public hearing. And now, as we have had previously the city attorney read the resolution, I would entertain a motion to adopt this resolution. You have a motion?
Second.
Heather, would you call the roll?
Joel,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart.
Yes. All right, the resolution passes. This takes us to item number 9 on our agenda, and this is to adopt a resolution naming the Texarkana Recreation Center Gymnasium the Terry Rogers Gym. This opens a hearing, a public hearing on it. Tyler Richards.
Should have just stayed up here.
Here you go.
So you've already heard from Mr. Reed and a couple of others. I don't know if there's a whole lot more that I can add to than that. But in 2022, the rec center received a large donation. It was actually $150,000 from Mr. Reed. In recent years, Mr. Reed made multiple investments into our community, especially as it relates to our youth. He talked a little bit about We Are Washington, the center that he developed over there on Marietta. With that donation, he made the request that we named the gymnasium there after Mr. Terry Rogers. And I believe you've got a biography of Mr. Rogers there in your packet, but I'll run through just a couple of items here. He is a 64-year resident of Texarkana. He was brought on as a staff member at the Boys and Girls Club at the age of 16 in 1970, and he remained with that club for 40 years. He donated 40 years of his service to that Boys and Girls Club. So you've heard from a couple of community members who he greatly impacted. Do you have any questions for me? And also I do have a petition here that Mr. Reed just gave me. It looks like we have about 292 signatures on it in benefit of the name.
I would say that, just to echo that, Terry, he's one of the finest individuals I've ever met. He was like a second father to me as well. There were times when I went over there to that club and I was hungry, and Terry fed me. He gave up his own food to feed children over there. He's one of the. I was really in favor of this until I knew who his sister was. So I'm kind of. I'm in support of this. Is there any other folks in the crowd that want to speak in favor or against this resolution?
I'd like to make a statement.
Yes, sir. Come on up.
Okay.
Come on up if you don't mind.
Just for clarity, we're all requesting for the entire facility to be named after Terry, not just the gym floor. So I just want to make sure that we're clear on that. That was something that was proposed back towards me, and I never liked that idea. I mean, I feel that this guy's given 40 years of his life, a lot of it in that exact building, helping kids. So that we're not asking for the gym floor to be named, we're actually asking for the building to be named after Terry. So.
Tyler.
I apologize. That was the way it was passed on to me from our previous city manager. But that is solely up to y'all, whether it's the gymnasium or the entire rec center. That's just the way that it was. This has been so long coming that it began with our previous city manager.
If I will ask the city manager, can we approve an edit to this to be the overall Boys and Girls Club to be named Terry Rogers?
Just make a motion, you gentlemen have that.
All right, so is there any other that want to speak in favor or against this?
I do have one question, because I know that there are situations in the past before I was on this board where a park was renamed on a Saturday and the sign was up on Monday, and the public had no opportunity to weigh in on that decision. And it was very contested. Do we need to take additional steps to make the entire facility? I'm not against it.
Right.
But I want to make sure we do things.
Well, the resolution and the request at least says rename the gym Terry Lee Rogers Gym. And so I understand they want to name the whole facility which, you know, I thought it was one big gym. So I don't see the difference in gym versus Terry Lee Rogers recreational center. But we need to get the name correct, and we can read it and just make an edit and get the edited resolution.
Attorney Potter, if we put that in motion, and we're naming the entire facility, would that be suffice?
Yes.
Would that be two separate votes on the amendment and the approval?
Yes.
Okay.
Vote to amend the request to the entire facility, and then I'll read the resolution with the full name in there.
Gotcha. Okay. Anybody else in favor or against this resolution?
I have a question, Mayor.
Yeah, Director Roberts.
So the Texarkana Rec Center would be renamed the Terry Lee Rogers Recreation Center.
Yes.
That's what we need to decide, what the name's going to be.
That's what I.
That's what we.
Are you all in agreement with that name?
Yes, absolutely.
I make that, motion.
All right. Anybody else in favor or against this?
I got it.
Yes, Director Harris.
I'm in per se favor of it, but, I guess I need to state my reason why I'm abstaining from this issue. Back in 2017, there was a group of people went over there and tried to have the gym fixed up, and I say 2017, now nobody was on this board 2017 except me. And so the mayor and the rest of the board, they called themselves disciplinary me, trying to put me in my place because what happened on the 24th of April in 2017, they wanted to get down. A group of people, citizen people, went over there, and they went over there trying to see what could be done as to fix up that building, including people from Lowe's and all that. And so that's the reason why. And I got a pending, I'm going to say I got a pending legal issue because I feel that I was singled out, and basically I have been shielded from having anything to do with that gym per se. So I'm using the word shielded because I know the city attorney knows what that means when I use the word shielded. And based on that, that's the reason why I'm not voting for or against it. I'm just going to abstain, and like I said, I wouldn't per se have an issue with that, but that's the reason why I'm letting the public know. That's why I'm abstaining, because there's a way this board, I don't mean this former board, I don't mean nobody went up here when all that happened. I'm making it clear, except me. Everybody else apparently is not here anymore, or as I can take, which is, and so that's the reason why I'm not. So that's the reason why I'm abstaining for that. So that's the reason I'm trying to let you and the public be aware of why when you hear one extension, and that's the reason why.
I gotta say, I was on board with being named gymnasium, but it's my opinion, and just strictly one person's opinion. But I think we need to have some kind of public hearing to, if we're gonna name the whole building, to get, in case somebody else is wanting to say, hey, we need to nominate somebody else. Now we're looking for the whole sign out there, the whole thing. Again, I was thinking the gymnasium. And I'm certainly for, if I were to vote tonight, it would certainly be Terry Lee Rogers Rec Center. But I think we need to have other people's voice to say, are there other people that may be worthy of, to be considered, being that the whole building is now to be renamed that, so.
I understand what you're saying. The reason we brought this before you was because of the $150,000 donation.
What was this done?
I'm sorry?
When was the $150,000 donation?
22.
And why when this is the first I heard of, and really the first time I heard of that, when I talked to
Mr. Reed?
Yeah, Mr. Reed about a week ago, and I also told him what I just said, the reason why I was going to vote, I was going to abstain from this, when we had a conversation about that about a week ago, and I asked him, when did you make that a donation and why? Like I said, that's the first I'm hearing of the donation. And so why when it was made really public to me as a board member, like I said, I didn't know nothing about it until he mentioned it. And so, and why when they made public, that $150,000 donation was made with the center?
I'm not sure. I can't speak on that. That was handled by our previous city manager. I wasn't involved in any of that, so I can't tell you. I'm sorry. I'm not sure.
Director Roberts?
I mean, I don't know what the pleasure of the board would be, but, and I was not on the board in 2017, but I do know the problems that came from that. And I'm 100% for renaming it. But considering, I mean, it was put out as gymnasium, if we tabled it to the next meeting and just put it back as is, that way if anybody had any questions, they can't say they weren't notified, because back in 2016, nobody was notified. And that way there won't be any type of blowback or anything. And like I said, again, I'm 100% for it, but since it's going from gymnasium to building, that way the whole public would know.
I just want to clear something up. What you mean by nobody was notified, that back, what you mean by that in 2017? No one.
Well, I mean, are we talking about the park?
No.
No, that's what I'm.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about,
No.
Director Hollywood?
If the board is amicable, I would like to go ahead and move forward as a show of good faith, name the gymnasium after him, and then we'll work on a resolution and take the proper steps to name the building after him.
If the donation's been brought up, the guy who made the donation, I would rather, and I think it's a good idea to table it until next month and make the resolution change to where it's named the Terry Rogers Recreation Center. And then you guys won't have to deal with any pushback.
We can do that at the May.
But what worries me that if you take this step of good faith and name the gym, I'm worried that people are gonna say it's already named something, just leave it alone. So
Yeah.
I think if we just put it to the May 20th meeting, that way it's clear, it's concise, and nobody can say, well, you said Jim, that's his name. That way everybody has plenty of time to know.
Well, I do disagree, because we're talking about the language here. We got the opportunity to change the language right now.
But the public doesn't know that, they haven't been told that.
However,
And we're here to represent all of people.
all right, we do have the opportunity to change the language right now. We can make that motion. Now, it'd be up to us to make the motion second or what have you. So.
I can't support that because the public doesn't know, the people in this room know.
You had a petition of how many people that were on?
292.
292 people
That's
on the
sufficient.
petition.
Yeah, I'll have to abstain from that vote as well.
All right. Do you got something, Director Gill?
No, again, I would be opposed to it just because of the technical.
So why don't we just vote to table this until the May 20th meeting? Then we can, yeah. All right, so I've got a motion to table it by Director Hollybush. I've got a second from Director Jewell to table this. Heather, would you call the roll?
Jewell,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
abstain.
Olive,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart.
Yes. And the resolution has been tabled. Thank you. Takes us to item number 10 is adopting a joint resolution and memorandum of understanding with the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, and the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, supporting the fiscal year 2024 consolidated rail infrastructure and safety improvements CRSI grant application for the Union Station improvements. Anyone going to speak to that?
Yes, I can speak to that, sir. That is it's a CRISI grant to allows us to work collectively with the Texarkana, Texas municipality to go for funding to improve the Union Station building that is currently inoperable. So we're trying to get funding to actually repair that and get it back to standard.
Okay. Any questions for the city manager?
Just one. Are we investing any city funds up front on this?
Not to my understanding.
So it's just a joint resolution that involves no money.
Correct, Your Honor.
There is money that's already been spent.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Any other questions for the city manager on this resolution?
When would we apply for this grant, or is it already been applied?
It's not been applied from my understanding, but I need your approval from my understanding, yes, sir.
Anybody else?
Was this the $25,000 that was spent to research the 200,000?
Yes, that's
Well,
right.
we would be obligated if we received it to spend more money, correct?
That's correct.
I need asphalt.
Is that not correct, city manager?
From my understanding, this is just going for the grant.
It's just going for the
I
grant,
don't
but if
think
we
we
got the
obligated,
grant,
yeah. You'd have to get it, they still have to come before you all with respect to the grant and the parameters surrounding it. This is strictly just to apply. We're not complying, we're not compelling the city to move forward because there may be other areas with respect to obtaining the building. Because the cities do not own the building at this time, we need to get some funding in place, but we won't be obligated to move forward if we can't come to terms to acquire the building collectively between the two cities.
Well, the $250 million, where is it?
$250,000, that is, it was, from my understanding, the building was for sale for $400,000, it was $200 per each municipality. We have not acquired the building.
So the money is just sitting there for right now.
From my understanding, sir, yes.
we're all gun shy about free money, and everybody's free money.
Well, last time, if y'all remember during the conversation, they were estimating $17 million to renovate that building.
Yes.
Well, $17 million fixes a lot of streets.
If I may interrupt for something,
And that's money on the Texas side, and I'm not putting Arkansas on the Texas side. Can't do it.
I've been in conversation with Amtrak. They're looking to give the cities $2 million by this September to go toward this building, just so you understand. But we have to acquire the building, and the grant is another bonus on it. But Amtrak is in talks with us, myself and David Ward, to give $2 million by this September toward this project.
Yeah, just to keep this in perspective, we're applying.
Yes, yes, sir.
That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
Then somebody gets you in a $2 million hole before you know it.
Anybody else? All right, y'all have got information from the city manager. This is a resolution. I would instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
Joint resolution of the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, and Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, supporting the fiscal year 2024 Consolidated Rail Infrastructure and Safety Improvements Grant application for Union Station improvements and establishing an effective date. Whereas the U.S. Department of Transportation's Federal Railroad Administration notice of funding opportunity for $2.4 billion in grant funding through the CRISI grant program is open. And whereas the cities of Texarkana, Texas and Texarkana, Arkansas are applying for the CRISI grant, Texarkana's Union Station redevelopment project sets a bold vision for future growth rail transportation within the Twin Cities of Texarkana, USA, on the Texas and Arkansas border, a historically disadvantaged rural community originally established as a railroad and industrial center. Texarkana, USA has grown into a regional agriculture, retail, transportation, and wholesale service center. This phase of the project aims to acquire the site as a capital project and fund the preliminary engineering needed for redevelopment. And whereas the two cities have a shared interest, the site is currently an eyesore and one of the only remaining non-renovated Union Station facilities along the Amtrak Texas Eagle route. Additionally, the only operating portion of the site is in serious need of repair to make the site more ADA friendly for passengers. This site has been around since the founding of those cities, and staff realizes that its restoration is vital to a successful downtown revitalization, which is part of the city's comprehensive plan. This project will preserve the building's rich history while contributing to the economic growth that has started in downtown Texarkana, as well as improve passenger safety. Potential funds from the CRISI grant program for building acquisition and preliminary engineering, along with other potential funds from tax credits and Amtrak's improvement funds, will allow for future redevelopment. And And whereas this project demonstrates a valuable contribution to both cities' continuing efforts toward the redevelopment of downtown Texarkana, which will improve the multimodal transportation in Texarkana, USA. Working in close coordination with Amtrak officials, the redevelopment of Union Station will include, but not be limited to, passenger station amenity improvements and ADA accessibility. These upgrades will lead to emissions reduction and public health benefits, reduced pavement maintenance costs, and other economic development gains. The station would become a viable multi-purpose building with passenger rail, offices, and event and future business accelerator space, providing the opportunity for multimodal means of rail transportation along with potential bus service route through the Texarkana Urban Transit Authority. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, and the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, Section 1. The City Council of the City of Texarkana, Texas, and the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas hereby approve the support of the Texarkana CRISI grant application for Texarkana Union Station redevelopment and authorize the city managers jointly to partner with other entities for the acquisition of Texarkana Union Station. Section 2. This joint resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage and approval by both cities. Texarkana, Texas, passed and approved in regular council session this 22nd day of April 2024. Texarkana, Arkansas, passed and approved on the 6th day of May 2024.
So the city attorney has read the resolution. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak?
I would just like
Roberts.
to go on record. If you think back, the vote was 5-2. There was me, myself, and you voted against this to start with.
Yep.
And you were getting into a position, I am totally for revitalizing downtown. But when I have 78% of the roads in my ward that are failing and 48% are still on septic, I've got infrastructure problems in my ward, but more than a building. And we're obligating ourselves, we're getting further and further into a situation where you're looking at $17+ million and we have a $180 million road problem. So we're gonna have to prioritize, are the citizens gonna be more interested in Union Station, or do we need to fix sewer and streets in this city? I mean, in theory, it sounds wonderful, but just like the airport, we had to dig and scrape to get ourselves out because you're not being foresighted. You're looking back and saying, well, we can do this, we can do that. I understand, but until we take care of the problems we have, we don't need to create any more. That's just my personal opinion.
Anyone else? Director Joel?
That was a lengthy resolution, so this, are we bound in any way to do more than just apply for a grant? I mean,
Not to my knowledge, sir.
well,
Again,
but
you all have.
you keep saying that not to my knowledge, but can we get some kind of definite that, no, we're not bound to spend any money?
Director Gould, the last time this was brought up, the estimated cost, the grant was not going to be near what we needed. And the cost between the cities was approximately $17 million. Now, if we pay half of that, what are we gonna get it at? We don't have it. If we did, I'd sure like to find it. Like I said, if y'all want a grass hog, I do.
I think at that meeting, you and I were the no vote on
Absolutely.
that. I'm like Director Roberts. I'm all in favor of revitalization, but I'm not going to support it.
I can't, I mean, when I've got people cannot flush their toilets when it rains because they're on septic. I mean, do y'all have anybody on septic in your ward? I do. And these people need help. And I know it's nice to say we would like to have that building pristine. I would, but I want my people in my ward that I was elected to represent to be their voice, and they want stuff fixed that has been that way for over 2 decades. They've been promised and lied to. And I cannot spend money downtown when I need it in my ward.
Well, the resolution concerned me, and part of that is for grant to purchase.
Well,
There was $200,000
Yes.
or not.
this resolution, there's a lot, this was written by someone, I assume some grant writer.
It's gonna tie your hands.
Well, section 1 says, hereby approves the support of the grant application. Okay? And those cities to partner with other entities for the acquisition of Texarkana Union Station.
Yeah, I was not in favor of that acquisition, and I think that was $200,000 at that time. It was
That was wasted, you remember?
So the city attorney has read the resolution. I would, what is it going to be the desire of the board to adopt this resolution?
Make a motion to adopt the resolution.
We have a motion to adopt. Do we have a second?
Do we need to vote this down? And it goes away, or is it?
It can die.
You don't get
a second.
You don't get a second, it dies.
Or you can vote it down. Either way. No second? All right, there's no second, and that takes care of that resolution.
Moving on.
I appreciate that.
That takes us to item number 11, adopting a resolution to accept the 2023 audit engagement letter prepared by the accounting firm Forbes LLP. Finance Director Tyronda Henderson.
Good afternoon, Assistant Mayor Hart, Board of Directors, City Manager Mr. Thompson. Today I present to you the 2023 audit engagement letter prepared by Forbes LLP. This item is to approve the engagement letter with Forbes to conduct the City of Texarkana, Arkansas and the Bi-State Justice Center's 2023 annual audit and preparation of the annual comprehensive financial report. They are experienced in conducting government audits and are also used by other cities within the state of Arkansas, as well as other cities throughout the United States. The fee for their services is $115,500 for audits of the financial statements for the city and Bi-State, with additional fees of $6,000 for one major program audited under the uniform guidance, and the fee that not to exceed $5,000 for testing of the implementation of GASB 96. The City Manager and Finance Director both recommend approving this one-year letter of engagement. The one-year engagement is a 5% increase from 2022 and will require an additional appropriation of $6,800. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Henderson? I want to say thank you for all you do.
You're welcome.
We're very blessed to have you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right, I will remind the board this is a resolution. Is there any other discussion? Yes, Director Harris.
Mine was going to be a question, but I guess you know, I always vote no for this resolution. The reason why I vote no for this resolution is because the state would do this for free, and that's basically why I vote no. I always eventually vote for the audit when y'all do the audit, but I do not still agree that we need to pay for an audit when someone will do it for free per se. And I know that they're gonna say, well, they don't do the grant and all the other stuff, but well, they do, because the school board, they get their audit done for free by the state, and county get their audit done for free by the state legislation. So that's the reason why I'm not voting for this, but otherwise, when they come and do the audit, I think I have to vote for the audit, but I did not vote allocate money for someone and to do it free. So.
Any other discussion? All right, this is a resolution. I'll go ahead and instruct the city attorney to read the resolution.
Whereas the firm Forbes LLP has submitted a letter of engagement to conduct annual audits for the City of Texarkana, Arkansas and the Bi-State Justice Center for 2023. And whereas Forbes LLP has experience with conducting such audits and similar governmental audits, including audits for other cities within the state of Arkansas and throughout the United States. And whereas the City Manager and Finance Director recommend approving a one-year engagement with a 5% increase from 2022 for $115,500, $6,000 for the anticipated one major program audited under uniform guidance, and $2,000 to $5,000 for testing the implementation of GASB 96. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas, that the City Manager is authorized and directed to enter into a letter of engagement with Forbes LLP in an amount not to exceed $126,500, as and approved this 6th day of May 2024.
So the city attorney has read the resolution. What would be the desire of the board to adopt
I
this?
got a question.
Oh.
Tyrone, I asked you, there's some provisions that this audit provides that's not done by the state, that Director Harris has alluded to, right?
Yes, sir. So the audit that is completed by the state is what's called a cash basis audit. And so in that, they will just come in, make sure that you're following all of your state statutes and everything's up to par. But the almost 200-page CAFR document that you all received, they don't provide that. They don't do the gas fee implementations. We will have to find a outside company also to audit for our grant guidance as well as by state. So it's a significant expense just when you start layering those. And then the state typically has a backlog. And it's been a while since I've checked into their backlog, but they typically have a backlog because they are providing a free service to all the cities and counties, well, especially the small cities and counties throughout the state of Arkansas. So there is a little bit more that goes into that. And then our audit that we provide is in compliance with all of our bond issues, all of our debt service, everything that we need for our audit. So our auditors, they do a lot for us.
No, so the state would not be doing that as far as the last part that you mentioned?
No, sir. And then the CAFR document that you received, the city will also be responsible for writing that.
When's the last time you checked to see what it would cost for the by-state audit, the cost analysis on those to see what the amount that the city is paid above what those?
It has been a few years back since I've done that, but I can tell you just from speaking with our auditors and also other auditors that put in bids for that previously, we have one of the most difficult audits in the state of Arkansas, and it's simply because we have so many joint ventures. When you look at our audit report, it's not just simply audit. You don't simply have information for Texarkana, Arkansas. You have information for by state, TUTD line, TWU, airport, and so when you start layering all of those pieces onto that, it makes our audit very difficult. And we're in a unique situation that we also have the same auditors that work with the state of Arkansas and TWU. And so in doing that, it provides a little bit of ease when it comes to conducting our city's audit.
So there may not be a significant savings by going with those other people too?
No, sir, because there's so many different elements that you have to put in place. And I can tell you that our city has been accustomed to a certain level of financial transparency, and it comes from having outside auditors come in and handle that, and also having that information back to our board of directors and our citizens in a timely manner.
I think we all of us here want the same money, so I wanted some kind of validation that we weren't wasting money.
Believe me when I say I hope the city's purse strings really tight, and so I'm not in favor at all of wasting money for the city. But I can tell you that when the money that we put into this audit, we save it on our debt issues. We have one of the best ratings for our debt issues, and that comes from what's provided through our audit. So those things work in connection to get things done.
But I'm hearing you say that it's a better rating with what we have with your auditors versus the state.
Going with the state will save you money. I'm not going to tell you that it won't. But what I can also tell you is that the financial report that you're used to receiving, you won't receive it unless we have either additional staff that's hired just specifically for that purpose, or we contract with someone else to provide the CAFR. Then you will have to bring someone in to do your audit of your uniform guidance, which we have to receive in order to continue to receive grant funding. You have to bring someone else in to do your audit of your by-state financials, and then also performing all of the oversight for your joint ventures that are included in our audit. So yes, it is a cost savings, but I can tell you that you won't have it at the same level that you're receiving right now.
I would say that I believe that we've got the best finance director in the state of Arkansas, and I know her professional opinion. It means a lot to all of us, especially myself, and so I'm in favor of this. And I'm always in favor of saving money, but I believe that Ms. Henderson knows what's going to involve this with us doing something else. So I'm in favor of this.
I can tell you that if there was a way that we could save money on this, I most definitely would try to figure out that way to do it. Our auditors work with us year after year to try to make sure that they also provide us with the best price and cost available. And we do have a nationwide company, which is a really good thing, because if you look at the gas pronouncements, those are things that not all cities are putting in place in our audit, that our auditors are making sure that we have in place ahead of time, sometimes when it comes to financial reporting. And so that's very important, because if we don't, if we're not in compliance with all of our financial reporting, that's another issue that we have when it comes to time to get bonds, when it comes to time for grant requirements. And that's a big, big thing. And that is money that our city receives. And so if we start losing those types of things because we don't have proper reporting of our financials, then the $118,000 won't seem like a lot. Because this city receives a significant amount in grants.
Any other questions for Ms. Henderson?
I just got one. When we started with this person, if I'm not mistaken, it was $90,000, right?
I want to say they were about that price, yes, sir.
And then they joined forces with another person, which, how many people in the state of Arkansas that there's an audit, and when the last time have this put out for a
RFQ?
For a rebuilding per se, because I think this person here been doing it for the last maybe 6 or 7, maybe.
No, they've been
They've been doing it for the last 14, 15, 16 years. So they've been doing it for a significant amount of time. We have, yes, sir. We can put this out again. I will tell you, I would not recommend it for this year, because our auditors will be here in 2 weeks. But I will also follow the wishes of this board. We can put this out. I can't guarantee you that you will have anyone local that will even bid on that. I don't know how the qualifications will go. With financial services, it's important to remember that you do not award them based upon the price. You actually award them based upon their qualifications. So before we're even able to negotiate a price for auditing services, you're just going to get qualifications, and then you will pick the firm based upon the qualifications.
Any other questions for Ms. Henderson? All right, I would remind the board that this is a resolution. The city attorney has read it. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right. Heather, what do you call it?
Joel?
Yes.
Roberts?
Yes.
Harris? Aldridge?
Yes.
Brewer?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes, and the resolution passes. That takes us to item number 12, which is an ordinance to adopt amending ordinance number 10-2021 to correct the street name from George Street to George Avenue. City Planner Jamie.
Let's see if we can't do a couple of easy things here.
Yeah, please.
This is just correcting an ordinance. We had an ordinance back in 21 to abandon a street. It's actually George Avenue. The ordinance accidentally read Georgia Street. We actually have a George Street. So we're just correcting the ordinance from George Street to George Avenue.
Any questions?
As simple as that.
Housekeeping item, I like that.
So, thank you very much. So this is an ordinance that will need to be read 3 times. And I will ask the board, what would be the board's decision to have it read on its first reading?
First reading, abbreviated form.
Second.
Heather? Our city attorney?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 10-2021 to correct the street name from George Street to George Avenue and for other purposes.
You have heard the city attorney read the ordinance the first time. What would be the desire of the board to read this? We got a vote? Okay. Heather, we call the roll.
Joel?
Yes.
Roberts?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Aldridge?
Yes.
Brewer?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes. You have heard the city attorney read the ordinance. What would be the desire of the board to read the ordinance on its second reading?
Second reading, abbreviated form, please.
So we have a first and second to read the ordinance, and it's on its second reading. I will instruct the city attorney to read.
An An ordinance amending ordinance number 10-2021 to correct the street name from George Street to George Avenue and for other purposes.
City attorney has read the ordinance on its second reading. Heather, will you call the roll?
Jewel,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes. The city attorney has read the ordinance on its first and second reading. What would be the desire of the board to read the ordinance on its third and final reading?
Third.
Abbreviated form.
Second.
Have a third and a second to be read in abbreviated form. Prior to this going to a vote, is there any other discussion on this ordinance? All right, I will instruct the city attorney to read it on its third and final reading.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 10-2021 to correct the street name from George Street to George Avenue and for other purposes.
So at this point, I will ask if there's any discussion prior to the board voting. All right, Heather, will you call the roll?
Jewel,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes, and the ordinance passes.
We got to move for.
Motion, I will entertain a motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right.
Jewel,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes. And the ordinance is passed. That takes us to item number 13, adopt an ordinance amending the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances, Section 28-22, Commercial District, in order to consolidate and clarify permitted and conditional uses for medical-related businesses. Jamie Finley, City Planner.
So this is another piece of housekeeping here. We ran across an issue where there was some ambiguity about medical-related things as far as zoning. So this is the old ordinance. You can see it lists clinics, dental, medical, osteopathic, and then down here it lists medical clinic, and it's a whole different matrix. And then down here it lists medical offices, and it goes on, and down here it lists dentists, and we've got dentist stuff here. So what we did was we consolidated 3 of these down into 2, and basically the only one we have called out is emergency care clinics, because they have longer hours, they have special needs as far as emergency entrances and exits and all of that. And so that's all we've done is consolidate that down to try to clean this ordinance up a little bit.
When it says for medical-related businesses, Jamie, does that include any medical marijuana businesses?
No. No. Pharmacies, medical marijuana, those are not what we're talking about.
Okay.
Give preacher.
Any other questions for Jamie?
What about medical waste, facility?
No, that would not be included in here. These are more medical practices
Gotcha.
and clinics.
Gotcha. Any other questions for Jamie? Jamie, we appreciate all you do. This is an ordinance. I'll remind the board it has to be read 3 times. What would be the desire of the board to have it read on its first reading?
First reading, abbreviated form.
Second.
We have a first and a second. I would entertain the city attorney to read the ordinance.
An ordinance amending section 28-22 of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances in order to consolidate and clarify permitted and conditional uses for medical-related businesses and for other purposes.
So the city attorney has read the ordinance on its first reading. What would be the desire of the board to have it read on its, no, we need to vote. Heather, will you call the roll?
Jewel,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes. All right, the city attorney has read the ordinance on its first reading. What would be the desire of having the ordinance read on its second?
Second reading, abbreviated form, please.
Second.
We have a first and a second to read it on its second reading in abbreviated form. City attorney, will you read the ordinance?
An ordinance amending section 28-22 of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances in order to consolidate and clarify permitted and conditional uses for medical-related businesses and for other purposes.
So the city attorney has read the ordinance on its second reading in abbreviated form. Heather, will you call the roll?
Jewel,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Oliver,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes. The ordinance has been read on its first and second reading. What would be the desire of the board to have the ordinance read on its third and final?
Third and final reading, abbreviated form.
Have a first and a second for it to be read on its third and final in abbreviated form. City Attorney, would you read the ordinance?
An ordinance amending section 28-22 of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances in order to consolidate and clarify permitted and conditional uses for medical-related business and for other purposes.
City Attorney has read the ordinance in its third and final reading. What would, Heather, go ahead and call the roll.
Jewel,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Olive,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart,
Yes. The ordinance has been read on its third and final reading. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Heather, will you call the roll?
Jewel,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Olive,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart.
Yes. And the ordinance passes. Takes us to item number 14, adopt an ordinance to rezone Lot 1 of the proposed JK Acres subdivision located at 4804 East 9th from R2 Single Family Residential to C1 General Commercial District for the purpose of building and operating a landscaping business in Ward 3. City Planner Jamie Finley.
So this is a rezoning for a piece of property. These people are wanting to operate a landscaping business out there. The easiest marker here for this property is this is the VFW out on Highway 82 on East 9th Street right here. And this is the property right next to it. There is water available on East 9th Street. The sewer is available over here. They will have to have a septic system, and they're well aware of that. And they will get that vetted through the health department. So the issue with this piece of property is there is a flood zone on the back half of the property. And so what they have done is they have divided it into 2 lots and keeping the flood zone in its own lot. Now, we are only rezoning Lot 1, this lot up here. The homeowners back here, because we're rezoning it to commercial, the homeowners back here were concerned about having this lot zoned commercial. And even though it's flood zone and it probably will never be developed, they were concerned that at some point down the road it might be. So we came to an agreement that we would leave this R2 and we would only rezone this front half of the property, C3 to operate a business. This is C3 over here, this is the VFW's property. And that's their plat with the 2 lots divided in there.
So have we had any opposition to this now?
No.
And we sent everything out to,
We sent everything out to everybody within 300 feet.
and no response?
Nope.
The property behind the VFW, this VFW on that.
The VFW owns that property too. VFW actually owns, VFW actually owns all this property beside it back here.
They don't have any problem at all.
No, they were sent a letter, and I'm actually a member of that VFW, so.
Director Harris? Sorry, Director Harris?
If you do it, what's the difference from that and making conditional use that if you zone that C3, what's stopping from anything from coming back with C3, upon the C3 guidelines?
Well, they're not. They could eventually, anybody that, if they sold it down the road or they decided they wanted to put something else in there, I mean, it is about land use and anything that's allowed under C3 could go in there.
Should you put the C3 conditional use? That way, if they want to try to put something other than a landscape, they would have to come back to the planning commission. If I'm hearing it right, and the other people did not want it to be there.
Well, that would be, the way this zoning is set up, there's not a conditional use for landscaping businesses in this. I believe what you're speaking of would be a planned unit development where they could only put landscaping in there and they would have to come back if they ever did anything else.
What's stopping from y'all making them do that?
Well,
If the neighbors are happy, that,
yeah, and they asked to rezone it, and it is a significant amount more work and more cost. to do a planned unit.
Are the folks that are gonna do this, are they here
They are not here.
or not?
So if it was a conditional use, that would be like a housing project, if they made any changes, it would have to go back to planning and zoning. Is that?
You're thinking,
Okay, so that, we're done.
there's not a allowance in our ordinances for a conditional use permit for, landscaping business. It's either use by right or not.
I do have a question about the VFW property. So half of their property is C3 and half of it
Is residential.
is residential. Okay.
How much acreage is involved in this?
4.76.
Yeah. 4.76. That includes the R2.
Yes, that includes, that's all of it.
I think it's a good thing to have some business out that way, generate a little tax revenue.
Any other questions for Jamie?
I want to buy my multiples, you know.
Anyone else want to speak in for or against this ordinance? All right, I'll remind the board that this is an ordinance and will need to be read 3 times. What would be the desire of the board to have the ordinance read on its first reading?
First reading and reading form.
Second.
Have a first and a second to have the ordinance read on its first reading in abbreviated form. City Attorney, will you read the ordinance?
An ordinance amending ordinance number K-286 is amended and for other purposes.
The city attorney has read the ordinance. Heather, will you call the roll?
Joel,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hollowbush,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart.
Yes. The ordinance has been read on its first reading. What would be the desire of the board to have the ordinance read on its second reading?
Second reading and reading form.
Second.
We have a first and a second to have the ordinance read on its second reading in abbreviated form. City Attorney, will you read the ordinance?
An ordinance amending ordinance number K-286 is amended and for other purposes.
City Attorney has read the ordinance in its second reading. Heather, will you call the roll?
Joel,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hollowbush,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart.
Yes. The ordinance has been read on its first and second reading. What would be the desire of the board to have it read in its third and final reading?
Third and final reading. Abbreviated form, please.
Second.
I have a first and a second to have the ordinance read on its third and final reading. Any other discussion prior to the board voting on this? Heather, will you call the roll?
Joel,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hollowbush,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart.
Yes. We have had the ordinance read 3 times. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt the ordinance. Heather, will you call the roll?
Joel,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hollowbush,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart.
Yes. And the ordinance passes. That brings us to item number 15. Adopt an ordinance regulating off-street parking in all residential historic districts. City Planner Jamie.
So, Ms. Lowe, who is here this evening, came to us. This has been on the Historic District Commission's mind for several years, and that's the issue of off-street parking in historic districts and people parking their cars and trucks in their front yard, tearing up the grass. And as most of you know, in our historic districts, people spend significantly more money for these homes. There is several more hurdles to go through when you maintain them. You have to go through the Historic District Commission. You have to use special materials. They're expensive. And so we have an obligation to maintain the ambiance of these neighborhoods. Right now, there is an ordinance that prohibits parking your RV, trailer, or camper in your front yard. There is not an ordinance anywhere in the city that stops you from parking your car or truck in your front yard. And we are only dealing with the historic districts.
I'm just thinking, where are they gonna go? They got 3 or 4 cars.
Well, I've drove the historic districts today, and 98% of these houses have parking. And there's always parking on the street, but 98% of these houses have either driveways or parking behind their homes.
Director Brewer probably can speak to this better than I can since it's in Ward Fords, but I drove over there and I mean, they were driving over curbs, and I mean, it looked like somebody even had a repair shop in the front yard. I mean,
Well,
it was bad.
I do want to clarify a couple of things that were not clear, and apparently the Gazette ran an article today unbeknownst to us that just muddied the waters a little more. We are not talking about parking anywhere in the grass on the property. We are only concerned, we are only concerned with what is the front yard. All right, let's get back to where I was here. So, on your property, there's a front build line. It goes across the front of your house and it goes straight across to both sides of your property. You got the same thing in back. We are only talking about this area here that is your front yard. You can park your RVs, cars, trucks, whatever you want, your side yard or your backyard. We are only concerned with the front yard. Now, there are some exceptions. If you have a driveway that comes off the street, you can park a vehicle in that driveway in front of your build line. If it's in the driveway, that's okay. We've also made a couple of concessions because we realize there are times people are going to need to park in their front yard for some reason. So say you have a family member that needs assistance and they need unloaded at the front door, you can park there for no longer than 30 minutes to either load or unload groceries or family member or something like that. If for some reason you need to park longer than 30 minutes, you can get a letter from us, say you're moving and you need to be parked there all day because you're moving furniture in and out. You can get a letter from planning. We're not going to charge for that letter that says you have our permission for a certain length of time to park in your front yard, but you cannot leave it there overnight.
Hey, Jim, I have a question. With that same retrospect, as far as giving extension, say for example, a citizen need time for reconstruction or what have you, because I'm in favor of this, and actually I was gonna like make a motion that we adopt it, and then maybe make it effective, maybe 90 days or 120 days, just to get the citizens some time to reconstruct, because some of the citizens in our area, they're only been living there like 2 or 3 years. Those of us that's been there like 14, 15 years or what have you, we're grounded in. We got our parking, we know where we're gonna park. Now, as far as giving extensions, say if they need time to reconstruct big driveways, because some of them have like one driveway,
Right.
Yeah.
And that is strictly at the discretion of the board. If you guys want to approve it and have it effective.
It's 30 days without an emergency clause anyway, isn't it? If it was passed tonight, it's 30 days.
Yes, and I spoke to Tyler today about this very issue. And Tyler said if we ran, and this is what we do anyway, if we ran across somebody that was in violation, we would send them a notice and give them 90 days or something to rectify it, and then if they didn't, we would send them another notice telling them they had 10 days before they would be fined.
Yeah, they're gonna work.
So, I mean,
Well, that seems sufficient because we are neighbors and we want to, love our neighbors and not cause any hardship. But just to know that option is out there, they get extensions to reconstruct their driveway.
Absolutely, and we are more than happy to work with them. If they're willing to work with us, we're willing to work with them. So,
Director Harris?
Who gonna enforce this?
well, we are not naive to the fact that enforcement is going to be an issue. We have, I will tell you already, had people who got wind of this ordinance that was going to be on the agenda tonight and have already moved their vehicles. So you will have a majority of the people who will abide by it just because it's an ordinance. So, but at the moment, we have nothing to, and we have pictures here. I mean, this person down here is blocking the sidewalk and has torn up this median driving back and forth across there. Same thing, I mean, these people have driveways.
Director Roberts?
Well, I know that's one thing I was gonna address on Laurel, which, Jeff, you live on Laurel, right? Kenny, which they keep their yards extremely meticulous. I know you find leaves all the time, bless your heart. But the sidewalks are just getting torn all to nothing with them going up on them, and some of them are just, like I said, parking on them, and which is gonna cost the city more money to repair, plus it looks horrible.
And the yards are getting torn up, especially this time of year when it's raining every other day. And like I said, Miss Lowe is here, and she brought it to us, and she has been out and is the one that has been the liaison with the community and the residents over there, so I'm sure she'll be happy to speak to you.
I just wanted to add everything Jamie said about the unsightliness and Terry bringing up the curbs and the sidewalks. It's also a safety issue for children and pets as well, because we certainly don't want them playing in the street. We expect them to play in the yard, and then if you've got vehicles parked in the yard and someone's moving it, that's really a safety hazard. So there's a lot of reasons that we would not want them parking in the front yard. And we've made all sorts of accommodations. Again, they can park beside their house, behind that line, and there's time for compromise in order to help people, make those accommodations and, plan their infrastructure. And a number of people have asked me, why haven't we done this a whole lot earlier? Because this is about preserving the beauty of our historic districts, and that's the whole reason why we have historic districts.
I'm of the opinion it should be citywide, not just in the historical district.
Well, I tell you,
Nobody should be parking in front of
if you had been to a historic meeting, you need to. It is detailed. I mean, you replace a window, you go through many hoops. So, yeah, I mean, they have a lot of time and a lot of money, which we all do in our own properties, but over here, you're spending a higher percentage just to live in the historic district. And I mean, and it being historic, we need to do all we can to preserve it.
Any other questions?
I was just going to add that the Historic District Commission does support this ordinance, and a number of people are here also from City Beautiful, who I didn't go see them as a group, but there are a number of City Beautiful commissioners here in support as well as a number of citizens.
Thank you, Ms. Lowe. I'll remind the board that this is an ordinance that may be read 3 times. What would be the desire of the board to have the ordinance read on its first reading?
First reading, abbreviated form, please.
All right, hold on a second. Director Harris.
To the city, how this gonna be enforced? What do you see how it would be enforced?
Well, planning said that they're gonna send out notices, but it also states that, any violation shall be punishable by a fine of $50 per day as imposed by the municipal court.
So how will that person get to court? That's my next question. If a person that's in violation, how would who would serve notice for them to go to court? Would it be the police? Would it be the law enforcement? Would it be a citizen? Who?
It would be handled the same way that it is handled now when we find people for weed lots or anything else. Code enforcement issues the fine.
It goes to municipal, right?
Right, it goes to municipal.
Judge Potter.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Any discussion?
I'll second his motion.
So we have a motion to accept or a motion for the first reading. Do I have a second?
Second.
Heather, will you call the roll? No, I'll instruct the city attorney to read the ordinance.
An ordinance amending section 28-91 of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances in order to prohibit the parking of motor vehicles in front of the front build line in historic districts and for other purposes.
City attorney has read the ordinance on its first reading. Heather, will you call the roll?
Till?
Yes.
Roberts?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Hollis?
Yes.
Brewer?
Yes.
Hart?
Yes. The city attorney has read the ordinance on its first reading. What would be the desire of the board to have the the ordinance read in its second reading?
Second reading.
So we have a first and a second to have it read on its second reading in abbreviated form. City Attorney, will you read the ordinance?
An ordinance amending section 28-91 of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances in order to prohibit the parking of motor vehicles in front of the front build line in historic districts and for other purposes.
City Attorney has read the ordinance in its second reading. Heather, will you call the roll?
Jewell,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hollowbush,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart.
Yes. The City Attorney has read it on its first and second reading. What would be the desire of the board to have it read on its third and final reading?
Third and final reading, abbreviated form, please.
Second.
We have a first and a second to have the ordinance read on its third and final reading. Heather, will you call the roll? Oh, City Attorney, would you read the ordinance?
An ordinance amending section 28-91 of the City of Texarkana, Arkansas Code of Ordinances in order to prohibit the parking of motor vehicles in front of the front build line in historic districts and for other purposes.
The City Attorney has read the ordinance on its third and final reading. Heather, will you call the roll?
Jewell,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hollowbush,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart.
Yes. The ordinance has been read on its first, second, and third reading. Prior to the board voting to adopt, is there anyone in the crowd who wishes to speak for or against this ordinance? I think we had a card from Ms. Nix. Are you still here, Ms. Nix?
Yes, but that's, I know that.
Okay, all right. So we have heard the ordinance on its first, second, and third reading. What would be the desire of the board to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a first and a second to adopt the ordinance. Heather, call the roll.
Jewell,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Hollowbush,
Yes.
Brewer,
Yes.
Hart.
Yes, and the ordinance passes. That concludes our regular agenda. Right now, we're going to go into Board of Directors commentary. If any of the Board of Directors want to,
I have one thing to say. Thank you. You did very well, considering you had a hard agenda tonight. You did very well, and thank y'all for keeping us in line. Thank you very much.
thank you, Terry.
I also want to say to the citizens of Ward 4, I've initiated an investigation for new equipment and replacement through SWEPCO from 19th Street to 22nd Street because there in that area we receive excessive power outages, 4 to 7 power outages a year. So that investigation is ongoing. So I'll be in touch with you.
We're still in session, though. Any other directors?
I'm looking at June here. Also, things like 24/7 calendar and also city assembly. Texarkana City calendar. My question is that a way we put legal notice on that way looking at this also it's not stopping for anything that requires legal notice, there's any way we can put a notation on our page, also on the city Facebook page, because some people does not get the newspaper. And I use one example, just say like CBG here, you know, when we don't have those, how you notify the people that you have those. And it would be good if you put that, you have a hearing date for city community development block grant fund, it'll be listed on here at the bottom of this page here, and then you can also put it on the city website. Just letting people know that then you may put on there, planning commission hearing, it will be held this coming Tuesday. You can put that right down there, and you ain't got to put the whole thing what's going about. You can just put a little thing and you just put what it's going to be about, but you ain't got to put the whole legal notice like you put in the newspaper. It's a short brief as to what it's going to be about. That way, what make a long story short is really trying to inform the citizen through things that they may be affected by it, because something, you know, a lot of people I know, they say they don't get the paper, but they find out they get affected say, for instance, I think I've said that, so. Thank you.
Well, I think, the city does a good job of putting the agenda on their Facebook page, on the internet. And, I know that several of the directors share that on Facebook, but not everybody has Facebook, not everybody has the internet. I know that Jamie sends out cards within 300 feet of stuff. So are you saying, I'm trying to figure out what you're saying on what you would want to have done?
You're talking about any committee meeting, like?
Yeah.
Any meeting, anything that may require public notice,
Well, I think we are required as a board, if it is a public hearing, that we have to make it public.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying make it more visible by putting on the agenda page. That's what I'm trying to say.
I got you.
Because if you look what's all on there, you got a whole thing, you got about 10 things, 15 things about the rec center. I'm not saying take that out, just make it more to inform the people of certain things that may be going on in the community. And then also put it on the Facebook page too. And
So how would they do that, Director Henry?
just list it on here.
Like putting our, planning commission, historic district, anytime somebody's got a meeting.
Yeah, just stick it on here. You having that meeting
Send it to the
tomorrow?
calendar.
It's on the city's calendar.
Well, it's not on here. I don't see it on here.
That's just the calendar of events. There's an actual city calendar on the website that has.
But also, could you put it on the agenda page? That's what I'm asking.
Yes, if we were told in time. Like if they had a regular meeting, it might be before or after our agenda. So,
What we can do if it's acceptable to the board, we can put what we have, our standard meetings identified on this calendar here, but we might be limited with respect to emergency meetings or any last minute changes. We can definitely put what we have, our standard meetings for all the committees and so forth, in the line item here, if that's pleasing to the council.
Okay, then my next question, what is required to have a public hearing, per se, as an agenda item? Public hearing.
It doesn't have to be in regards to something that's on the agenda.
No, just say I want to have a public hearing about training issues in the city. So what would be that requirement? Because you wouldn't per se go in, as a, citizen communication, but actually public hearing. I had one, but it was about 10 years ago.
Would it be a workshop?
No, a public hearing.
Public hearing.
Yeah, but having a public hearing as an agenda item.
So a regular scheduled meeting,
But have a public hearing. That way people can come up, they won't be per se them, but they'll be on training issues. And it won't be held here, but it's been 20, 15, 14, somewhere in there.
I'd have to look at that, but
Is it
off the top of
something-
my head, you just, like any other agenda item, it's a hearing,
Yeah,
but for what purpose? And
training issues.
just to investigate training issues?
Where, like, train blocking the track, getting people to come there about underpass, about lights up for notify the people. Just anything that had with juvenile planning, won't invite them to sit, show us.
So Director Harris, why couldn't we, invite our constituents to come and voice that during the citizens' communication?
That's not different, that's a public hearing.
What are you desiring to get done? There wouldn't be any, and there wouldn't be any action. So there would not be a motion, there would not be anything.
And not your vote. That's the information and comments, whether we list as a public hearing on Union Pacific Railroad operation and issues.
I'll look that up and see what
It
required.
had one before, but I was gonna put it on there, and I don't want nobody to say, stick to the, what's the name, you should do this and that, so.
Any other directors want to?
This is A. Gordon Tyler, throwing it to you, Robert. Our creeks, ditches, when are we going to get some of those cleaned out? And my Ward 5, nothing has happened in a long time. So can that be given some kind of priority?
Actually, Trotter is getting some bids now. We're trying to rent a long neck, I don't know the exact name of the equipment, so we can start cleaning out some of these creeks. We actually talked about that this morning because it was one of my priorities. We need to get ahead of it. With the future rain that's coming, we want to get ahead of some of these creeks and get them cleaned out. So we're looking to rent because we can't afford to purchase one. Rent the equipment necessary to utilize that.
But I'm talking over trees and that thing. I'm not talking so much about cleaning it out. The soil I'm talking about, the trees that's growing up from the sides and stuff, and the weeds that.
I have to look at that, sir, and get back to you. Right now, our focus was to keep the water moving, for lack of a better term, get the debris cleaned out from the culverts and stuff, so the water can move and won't flood the street.
Well, the trees in the creek.
But we'll look into it again. Like I said, we'll take a look at those and get back to you, sir.
Any other directors? All right, at this time, we're gonna go into executive session, so I would ask all the public and staff to